This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everyone, welcome. So we're going to blow today's meeting primarily on the Experience Center at the OCP Global Summit. I'm incredibly excited. So what we're going to do is we are planning a technology demonstration section of the OCP exhibit floor. As far as I know, it's the first of its kind. Where the main intent is to show that the chiplet economy is more than slideware. Um, we have ASC, Bill, and Patricia. If is Patricia online? Nope. Okay. Bill, her joining the OCP Global Summit as a sponsor to make the Open Chiplet Economies Experience Center possible. And so, for those of you who don't know, I think a spot on the OCP exhibit floor is a big deal. I think it's pretty pricey. Maybe Bijan or Cliff can sort of fill in some background on why this is a big deal. And I believe we're also getting one of the largest experience centers sections on the floor. So either Bijan or Cliff, if you'd like to say something here, please feel free to chime in.
Sure. Thanks. So, first of all, everyone, from the OCP Foundation perspective, we're quite excited to have the Open Chiplet Economy Experience Center. We announced the vision uh, of the Open Chiplet Economy just last January, and already we're getting significant interest and people wanting to be engaged. Um, the show itself will get about 3,500 people in person this year. A lot of activity on the exhibit floor. Most of the attendees, more than half of the attendees, are engineers. And then after that, there's people from lines of business. And so being visible there goes a long way to um, finding out about new technologies for people that are searching for that. And also, a lot of deals get done at Global Summit, which is why people come back year after year. And we're excited to be able to showcase the technology stations here. Now, to help people understand, there is a commercial section to the Open Compute Project exhibit floor. That's where the booths are. The Experience Center is to be a non-commercial section where we're doing technology demos. Typically, we like the demos to, in some way, link to the projects that are with OCP, and in this case, it's the ODSA project. And in this case, we've gone a little bit broader because it's fine if the technology demo isn't directly uh, from the ODSA project, but more part of the umbrella open chiplet economy vision, which is, and it would be important in your presentation or your demo to talk a little bit about how you fit in with the open chiplet economy vision. And for that, actually, I think Boppy and I spent some time and went through the proposed stations, and I guess, Boppy, we could say we kind of classified them into one of three categories. And of course, you can change that, but that's how we saw it would be important to make the linkage between what we're proposing and the open chiplet economy. Hopefully that helps.
Absolutely. So I'm going to do things in this order. First, do a roll call of everybody who's the companies who've accepted so far. Bill, I don't know if you'd like to say a couple of words about ASE in terms of what your interests are, or is Patricia online? Um, Bill, is there anything you'd like to add?
I do not see Patricia around. Um, we believe in the open chip economy. So that's why we are decided to sponsor it. We think this is an important part of our industry going ahead.
Super. Thank you. So I've done two things. One is this is the list of companies I have right now who've indicated an interest in doing a tech demo. I've got ASE, David and Tony, Blue Cheetah, Is he not online? I keep looking and
I see
no.
Patrick is on. So Haley.
Wait, yeah, but he's with Ilian, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Um, so DMAT is you got DMAT, Ilian, Fraunhofer, Intel, and I are. Tim, you've sort of been shanghaied into our demo. So welcome. Uh, Majid from Candu, Mark is here from Marvell, Kritikesh from UCLA, and Andreas from Zero ASIC. This is roughly the split. What I've done is I've taken everything you've given me and created this document, which kind of captures what I know of each of your demos right now. Some are sort of more. I'm happy to share this document with you. Um, and this is basically the list of what we know so far, and we have placeholders for a couple of other people we think will participants we think will show up. Let me stop here and see if there are any questions. Does anybody have any sort of top level questions before we get move forward?
Hi, Pete, could you mention the three categories? I know it was in the email, but just
Yes,
reiterating
actually,
the three.
realizing that I didn't. So, Cliff, I'm going by memory here because I didn't do a good cut and paste job. But roughly, so let me walk through what we're thinking. What we're thinking is that the demo gets the floor gets partitioned into three sections, each to do with the open chiplet economy. Um, one section is on workflow, which is excuse me, which is where David and Tony come in with their CDXML. The second is with standards and IP, and the third is disaggregation IP, disaggregation chiplets or SoC disaggregation.
Yeah, I think that's correct, Poppy.
And I'm thinking that it makes sense for if you're online, maybe if you could please in this order. Bill, I know we haven't discussed it yet. Maybe I'll start with David and Tony. Just do a couple of lines about what you're planning on demoing or a first order description. So David or Tony?
David, you want to take it or you want me to?
Um, yeah, sure. Um, so we
Okay.
will demonstrate predictive uh, analysis using CDXML and workflow with the predictive analysis workflow with CDXML
Okay.
and other standards.
Yeah, just to
Okay.
add a little more color, the idea is we would put together a contrived example that would have a few dies and connect them with a die-to-die interface, and we would create some power models for those and some area estimates, and just do a very high level floor plan. And then for predictive analysis, we could do some, once we've created those power models, we can do some thermal analysis and potentially even some predictive signal integrity analysis on some of those channels pre-layout. And then the design kits, we would demonstrate CDKs, which include ECMXL. So we would create the CDKs are the chiplet design kits. So those are the models that we would cobble together for each of the chiplets. And, those would be kind of used in the flow. So we are trying to standardize on these design kits. So we would have a demonstration vehicle showing that and how it works in with the workflow.
So the important part would be um, for the explanation that comes with the kit, right? You have someone to explain it.
Okay, Bill, you bring up an important point. So maybe let me do this. I just realized that if we lose time on, I'm going to come back to. I want to talk. The main purpose of this today's meeting is to talk logistics. We need to figure out what what each company needs. Our options are our
Hey,
options
Ben,
are
if I may interrupt you, Rob Coyle has joined, and
Okay,
he's here to help support you on what are the logistics. So, uh,
perfect. So, Rob, maybe could you please do a couple of minutes on the space available, what our table options are essentially what we need today from each of you, or at least to go back and think about is what do you need for a demo roughly? What do you need like a do you, maybe Rob, you could articulate what our understanding is in terms of the requirements.
Yeah, sure thing. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. The space allocated in the Experience Center, if those of you have not attended in the past, are stations that are in the middle of the floor. So they're set up like island squares, and there will be areas for ODSA, Open Chiplet Economy. There will be area for rack and power and our other disciplines that match our typical projects. Within those, just like you, there will be multiple companies collaborating and using the space, maybe at the same table, maybe in separate tables, but the space is really to showcase the technology and the work that you're doing, which is perfect for what you guys are doing right now. The overall area right now is about 20 foot by 20 foot, and then the furniture within can be um, what's typical, and we can make special requests for anything that somebody might require. But the typical table sizes are about 3 foot by 6 foot on the larger rectangular tables, and then we have some square tabletops that are about 2 foot by 2 foot. Depending on if you have a piece of equipment that needs to be set next to a table and you need a very small desktop, or if you need the larger desktop space, for multiple monitors or showcasing hardware, whatever it may be. So the critical items would be the requirement for the table size and who would be at it. So if you're directly collaborating with someone else on this call, I need to know who would be there. And then we need to know power requirements. And it may be helpful to understand what type of equipment you're bringing. Maybe it's just a monitor, maybe it's hardware, things like that. And then we'll have that's just to get a rough idea of what everyone's requests are. And I'll work with Cliff and Boppy, and we'll see any overlap or anything that we can make to, um, help make that as best as possible. And then we'll meet with the logistics team on a kickoff meeting, probably next week, as early as next week, with FN Tech, who runs the event with all of our booths and everything else there, and they'll lock in those specifics around power requirements, network connections, anything like that we may need.
Hey, Rob, will the convention floor provide a monitor, or is each company expected to bring their own?
Typically in the Experience Center participants bring their own equipment, including monitors. If there's a special requirement due to transportation or monitor size or something like that, let me know and I'll find out what options are available to us.
Are these 3x6 tables, are they just kind of an upper floor plan, or there's a back wall where stuff can be hanged? Or
They're open floor. That's a great question. Yeah, they're open floor plan. So this is the space is a 20 foot by 20 foot carpeted area with aisles all around it. You are out on the end, and I'm sorry, I'm not able to share my screen at the moment, but you're on a corner. So two of the corners will be outward facing to the general aisle of the expo hall, and the other corner in the opposite two walls will be adjacent to another experience center zone, but there will be walking space all the way around this 20 foot by 20 foot. So in the layout, we may be outward facing, we may have space in the middle.
So there's walls or like 6 foot walls or something.
There are no walls.
It's a bit like going back to grad school or DAC, basically. Here, I found it. Thank you. Here, I finally found it. Yeah, I was looking in the wrong month here. Whoops, my bad. This is what the thing looks like. Do you see this? That this was an experience center the ODSA had a demo. This was our board. We were part of the NIC 3.0 Experience Center. This is the table. Roughly, I think we have a slightly larger space, right? At least that's
Yes.
what this is
Yes.
what it.
Yes, you will. Last year it was more like a 10-foot by 20-foot rectangular space, and you can see on the end there's that curtain, that black curtain at the end.
Right.
All the experience centers extended out from that black curtain in a row. This year will be moved over just away from that wall. That wall will have our non-for-profit and partner organizations will occupy that wall. So we'll be kind of in more towards the traditional expo hall spaces and sponsored booths. We'll be just over from that. That way we'll have traffic all the way around the experience center, and it should be easier to access for everybody.
So this is roughly what our table will look like, or a full table, or it'll have a half table. But roughly, this is the size of each demo station.
So
This is great, Bobby.
question,
Thank you.
so the question regarding the monitors, in case you want to explain the setup, hardware, etc. The hardware, the monitor is not hung on a wall. It's just sitting on the table, or what?
That's correct. It will, any of the equipment other than if it can be floor standing, it'll occupy the table space.
Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
think in general, it's a good idea if you want to offload the table, if you have a lot of things, to bring some sort of monitor stand. Also, if you have equipment that can go in racks, perhaps that you're going to only pull something out of it or show the results of something in compute space instead of in physical space, then maybe rack systems to offload that table. There's different things that you can do that you have the freedom to do, I should say.
This is.
So in
I
this
hope
case,
this is.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
No, go ahead, Bill. I'm just flipping through pictures from from the last time the ODSA participated.
I think the question I just saw is that it looks like that in these pictures, the tables are brought over by the exhibitor, not, but in this case, the tables will be provided so that they fit in the space that is allocated. Is that right?
The tables will be provided by the venue. So you don't have to worry about bringing the tables. What we need to know is, do you need a long rectangular table or is a shorter square table adequate? And then you'll be upfitting that table space, however you see necessary.
Okay, I see that right now here. Yeah, either table 3x6 or 2x2, and equipment and power. Right. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
So this is Tim. So how can we request you for the table size? For example, 3x6. Can we send you email afterward after the meetings with the list of things we'd like to bring in and request for the electrical outlets at the table?
So what I'm going to do is hopefully this sheet becomes I'm going to share this sheet with everybody online, and we will consolidate all our requirements. We'll just add a row here saying demo requirements, and then
Yes.
hopefully I'll just hand this over to Rob. So
Yeah.
Will there be room for what are they called? Those roll up vertical things. The word is escaping me right now.
Like a poster
Those,
board kind
Banners.
of thing.
yeah, like the floor standing posters that at least highlights people what they're looking at.
From a signage perspective, there's likely to have space, but let me work with our events team where, in the experience center, showcasing the technology and what's working. We want to showcase all our participating companies and the work that you're doing. But we want to, visually have the space the same. So we're not allowing large banners or sponsor banners, things like that. Not that you're requesting that, but I want to lay the expectations out. So we'll work with the event team for any specific signage, and then that'll allow us for some space. So if in this list, and let's call this, as we're filling out this form, really the request time period of event. So when you put this demo requirements in, if you have a sign or an idea of what you want to put in there, please let us know. And then we may need to make adjustments so that we can accommodate everybody that's participating. So, you're filling in that requirements isn't a guarantee that that's exactly how we're going to do it, but we will work with you and you won't have any surprises before we're done.
Yeah, thank you. I think some signage may be helpful uh, beyond tables with monitors, right? At least to explain to people from a distance what they're about to see.
I completely agree. I just want to make sure that we remain flexible, as if we have so many people participating in this very important space, that if we all have largest size tables and then maybe some equipment on the floor, and then we add signage on top of that, we may run out of room. But if we have a blend of the smaller tables and the bigger tables, we just need to understand everyone's requirements before we can commit to what the outcome might be. So just appreciate your flexibility, and we'll work with you to make sure that it's, that it's explained as best as
Rob,
possible.
a comment on what I heard. Uh, since it doesn't make sense to have large signages behind, is there any way that your event organizer can kind of come up with an idea of how maybe to use uniform monitors everywhere for explanation, and this way it becomes more compatible with the event requirement, maybe,
Oh, yeah,
rather
I
than
like that
everybody
idea.
come up with an idea. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Wait,
really
guys,
like
because
that.
monitors are easy. Yeah.
wait, what is that? Can you please say that again, Majid? What's the idea?
No, I'm saying instead of signage, which is, could be, more complicated logistically and people have to print it, large or small. If there was some event harmony of using monitors for an explanation, then it could help everyone, uh, rather than everyone looking for solutions with, maybe event people can suggest something with monitors,
Okay,
and then we could bring the right size of monitor.
okay. So let me capture that. Um,
Yeah, thank you
so
for capturing
Just a
that. I think I'll
suggestion.
bring that to the events team, and we'll see what because we do, when we request furniture and power and things like that, we do have expenses from an event perspective. So we need to understand what the impact might be. But I do think it would really make the space look nice and be able to understand what everyone's doing. And then if there's, potentially, demo agendas, different information that you want to share to someone who just walks upon the experience center and wants to better understand what they're looking at or how to find what they're specifically looking for, I think that could be a really good tool. So thank you.
okay. Um, so the anybody else with any questions before I go to one important logistics thing I want to talk about? Cliff, Bijan, or Rob, is there anything else we need to cover? That any first order information you'd like to speak to?
No, I think for me, Poppy, that's the most important thing so that we can get space organized. Then I think after that, we should at some point talk about classification and the message for each station. So by the time we get to global, we have a clear understanding of what the overarching message for each station is, and also would like to do some advanced promotion of the experience center, and that will be very helpful for us. Uh, but that could happen once the logistics are settled.
So,
Could we also know when we can bring in the equipment a day ahead, um, or on the same day, October um, 18th?
I don't have that information right now, but we will get that information from the event organizers that are responsible for move-in dates and things like that. And we'll get that in our next meeting, which should happen within the next week.
Yeah,
Thank you.
just typically emails will go out to everyone who's listed as someone who's going to, have something there. And this email is pretty detailed, kind of like when you submit for a talk. It's very detailed. It gives you the timelines and dates and what's required.
Thank you.
Hey, so what do you want to capture on this? Whether it's a static or dynamic demo, it's a table size, power requirements, anything else you can think of? Monitor.
Recommended monitor size.
No.
Maybe.
Hopefully we'll standardize on one monitor size.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
What else? Static, dynamic, table size, power requirements, monitor. That's about it, or is there some?
As long
Um,
as it's a large monitor, 32-inch 4K or larger, I'm okay with standardizing.
Okay. Uh, and so is everybody online have access to this sheet? I went by memory and I gave. Is there anybody online, any company any rep with whom I haven't shared this? I see everybody's name.
Yeah. Poppy, to keep things easy, you could just click the access rights to anybody that has the link. I don't think this is highly confidential, and send an email with the link to everybody on the call. Just that way, everyone at least can connect
Yeah.
some.
Okay. So that I can do it. So right now that is okay. So let me do this.
So,
I'll give you anybody can see it. I'll give you editor rights if you want.
so yeah, Boppy, this is Kevin from Elion, and I don't think I have it.
Yep.
You
You're
sent
here.
this to Rami, so now you sent it to me. Okay.
Just I put it on the chat window. So if you click
Okay,
on it
thanks.
and
I
ask
see
for
it.
editor rights, I
Yep,
should
I
be able
got
to
it.
grant you. Just click OK. Anybody else who doesn't have access? Okay. Let's see. All right. So the great news is we've got all these companies. That's also now we have two options, and I don't know which one's better. So then we can get to the organization, etc. So we can go for N permanently staffed stations, or we can do a rotation by day or half day. Anybody have any preferences on which one works better?
We will prefer the static instead of rotations because of the equipments.
Okay. Anybody else? Should I just rule out rotations?
What do you mean by rotations?
Well,
Well,
go ahead,
to
please.
be clear, we do ask that there is a person for each demo at all times during the 2.5 days that the exhibit floor is open. So if perhaps one of the teams cannot be there for all 2.5 days, we could have a shared table where one day it's one demo and the second day it's a different one. But if everyone can be there, it's perfect.
Yeah, okay, we'll go for the permanently manned table.
Yeah, for us, I mean, I have no information, so I would say, can we decide this later? But it probably flexible. Two people, maybe one per day would be better if it's the same
Two
person.
companies or
But it's
two
the same
people?
person.
So this
No,
is rotation by
two
half
people.
is across.
Yeah, rotation really, because
So it's two.
if we don't, I don't have commitment. I have commitment that there would be one or two people available, but I don't know if it's the same person.
No, this is not rotation by. This is rotation by company. So basically, one company takes it for one day, and a different company takes over that slot for the next day or a
Oh,
half
I
day.
see. I see. Okay, yeah, it
Rotation
makes
by
sense that it's
company.
permanent.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess it makes sense for permanent then. Sorry. Yeah, misunderstood. Thanks.
Well, I would assume that if one have a monitor,
my bad.
then you
I
can
would
run
prefer
the
this.
monitor even without to have the people available. Is that right?
Yes, yes, you can. Yes, you can, Bill. Um, Okay, so I'm hearing. I'm going to rule this out then, Rob. I think then it's basically where everybody will all have to sort of share the heck. Going once, going twice. We're going with N permanently staffed stations.
I think it should be a permanently staffed station.
Okay. Then one last question, because this is going to take some logistics work. Do you want a thing where one demo takes guaranteed you're guaranteed to be there at particular times, or we have one demo taking center stage? I'm not able to explain this clearly, but my thought is, do we want like certain periods where one demo sort of doing an extended talk on what they're doing? It's a question. It's not a recommendation from me. I'm asking. So we would publish some sort of a schedule and say, like, uh, Andreas or Majid, they're going to talk from 12 to 12:30 or something along those lines. Or it's just basically, people walk in and engage with whatever demo they please.
Is there any way we can get together and have a large screen, large monitor?
So the company presenting would take ownership of the large monitor for
I
that
meant,
period?
if we're gonna have like some place where somebody could step up and give a presentation, is it gonna be in front of a small screen, tiny table, or can there be like a
Good
big
question.
screen?
I was going to sort of see the interest in this, and then I'm glad Rob is here. We figure out whether we can make this possible. I want to know whether there's any interest at all in this idea.
I think it's a good idea.
I mean,
Do you think
we're gonna have we're gonna have a live demo, so it's gonna be a little bit hard to see if everybody has a huddle over a little screen, right? Like a laptop or something.
Right.
So I assume that the center stage will have either some sort of a stage and a bigger screen,
And
so
that's
that
a
we
bit
can
bland.
show
We
presentation.
won't have we won't have, Tim. Sorry.
Okay.
This is, I'm assuming a healthy number of people online have gone to grad school. So think grad school here.
Okay.
But I mean, is there any interest in
Yeah,
this
no
concept?
stage.
Maybe Rob
There is
can-
an expo hall.
Somebody?
Seems like we lost Rob for a second. Maybe he's coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back
Justin?
now.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
You
There
were
there
saying
won't
something?
there is no room for a stage, and
Right.
we are we're exploring the possibility of using maybe a large monitor that is maybe also for explanation to dedicate it to someone for a period of time. We'll also be very close to the expo hall stage, presentation stage, which would be near us. So there's logistics and things come out, but just to understand if there's interest in it, then we can explore the possibilities and come back to you. But this would not be a commitment. This would just be a judge of interest.
Yes. So let me do a quick show of hands. Who is interested in this idea of taking one demo taking center stage for about, so Rob, should we say 30 minutes or 15?
Let's not commit to any timeframes at this point. Let's just get a show of hands of who might
Okay,
be
let's do a show.
interested in it, and then when we understand what our restrictions are, we can understand how much time is available.
That's fair point. Is who's interested in this idea of demoing center stage Tim and rotating that across all our demos? So I heard Tim.
Yeah,
Yes.
I am.
D-Matrix
Yeah,
is.
I think it's a good idea,
Yes.
Tony.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
idea.
Okay.
definitely good idea.
All right. So then yes, there is broad interest. Okay. All right, Rob. Then we can take this offline and you can tell us what's possible and what's not.
Sounds great.
Okay. So I think the immediate homework for everyone is to please fill this in. The kind of equipment. I knew I was missing something. Uh, please add, if I've just added this to Tim's table. If you wouldn't mind just adding a row to your table and filling in this information. Okay. Now, since we've got all the logistics out of the way, I'd like to do two things. Cliff, before we go into how we want to organize it, I'm wondering whether we could just take 2 minutes from each everybody online to sort of talk about their demo so that we're all roughly in sync. So you wouldn't mind waiting for this organization stuff, right?
Sure, sure.
Okay. So if we can save about 5 minutes at the end in terms of the messaging, etc. Cliff would like to cover what we want to do in terms of promotion. So we'll just go through. Anybody from Blue Cheetah online? Okay. Keith, a quick one about the D-Matrix demo.
Yeah, hey everyone, this is Keith from D-Matrix, and what we'd like to show is a 256 gigabit per second live die-to-die link using the Bow interface, running traffic and showing error-free operation.
Thank you. Patrick, Elian?
Yeah, I think Patrick dropped. This is Kevin,
Ah,
and we would be showing our Bow 2.0 link live demonstration.
perfect. Thank you.
So this is Tony. I was hoping to demonstrate a die-to-die interface, whether it be a bow, preferably a bow. But we'd like to request whoever's open to providing us some front-end views that would include things like IBIS models and maybe a simple left view for our demo. So where we've got um, you know some of the vendors on the call. Is anybody willing to share those with us, either D-Matrix or Blue Cheetah, or even Ilion?
Hey,
Iliad?
Tony, may I send out an email since we're down to about 15 minutes?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, Kevin, I don't see Andy. Can you speak to the demo by any chance? Is Kevin from Samsung still on, or he dropped? Okay, Kevin's not on. Tim?
Yes, Aya and Intel. There's a Christine from Aya, also part of the demonstration. So we like to demonstrate the optical interface with the die-to-die data transfer up to 4 terabit per second. That will be two platforms with the optical link.
Super.
Christine with
Majid?
an E at the end. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you.
Majid?
Yes, hi. We're going to showcase the chiplet-based PCIe that we will scale it by 4 by 6 up to by 16. It's OIF for now, CAI, USR, but we have plans for other standards. That's why we're attending the BOW and other chiplet standards.
Super.
And the demo, sorry, would be a server, Intel server plus riser card plus endpoint, which is Broadcom PCIe.
Excellent. Kritikesh?
Hello
You
everyone,
still
I'm
on?
Prithikesh from UCLA. So yeah, we'll be doing demo for a fine pitch die-to-die interface, which you call super chips. It's low energy, short distance, short throw interface, and we'll mostly be doing a live demo of that.
Super. Andreas?
Yeah, we're gonna do a emulation of a number of chiplets to verify that they work together. A live demo.
Excellent. All right. So this is the plan in terms of 3 sections. I think Cliff, now we can, anybody have any questions before we get to the final home stretch?
Quick question, Bapi. Did you what we just heard from people? It's captured in the document.
Yes,
I guess
or feel
ours
free to
is, but
edit it.
yeah,
Feel free to edit whatever you'd like
yeah.
here, but
Okay,
this
great.
this is what I have from everyone.
Right. It would be good. Yeah, it's good that we have a harmonized message across, etc. Okay, great. Thanks.
Ah man, I couldn't pay you for that transition. All right, Cliff, it's all yours. Um,
Bobby, you and I was reaching out to ITRI in Taiwan.
yes,
So if they, I have not heard back from them. We have
right,
not heard back from them.
right.
And I'm assuming that if we have, if they are interested, we want to invite them in. Is that right?
100%.
Okay, thank you.
ITRI, and another there's one more company that we're talking to, but yes, the short answer is yes.
Okay, thank you.
Poppy, I think maybe what we want to do is add another row to each of the stations, and it'd be great for the folks that are demoing to give us what would be an outward bound message they would like us to use to explain their demo station. And maybe each individual company could have their marketing folks uh, or whoever would be responsible for the outward going message share that with us so then we can use those in our outward bound communications about how to represent that station.
So if you don't see, I've added that.
And if you don't put it there, we'll say something, but that may not be exactly as you wanted.
Like one or two sentence, concise message, or
Yeah, 1 or 2 sentences. If it was you met someone in an elevator, and what's the best thing we could say in a very short sentence about your demo station, so people will say, I got to go to the Open Chiplet Economy uh, Experience Center, and I want to talk to these guys.
yeah, elevator pitch.
Okay. Oh man, I'm not going to type this in each thing. All right. Yeah, if you can please add these two to your.
Sorry, Bapi, I gave you a lot of busy work there, but I think it will help us.
It's a good idea. And the intent here is two things, right? We want a coordinated message for the experience center as a whole. And at least for me, it is that the open chiplet economy is real. But Cliff will come up with something better.
No, it's real, active, and for me, what's really important is we announced the vision last January, and now we'll be in October by the time we get to the Experience Center, and it'll be really important that we show some significant progress along the lines that we promised, which was, movement towards the standards that are going to be needed for an open chiplet economy, uh, movement towards real chiplets and use of the interconnect standards, whichever they may be. And maybe then we'll leverage that to talk about what might be the next steps post October around establishing a true marketplace where ultimately there are vendors of chiplets in the marketplace, which today we still don't really have, but that's okay. We're making progress, which is what's important.
And yeah, oh yes. So these are my comments, and roughly there's an indicator of which section of the three we're thinking of slotting this demo in, this open chiplet economy link. If you have any comments on that, please put it in there. But roughly, we want an even split across disaggregation, standards and IP, and workflow. That's what we're aiming for. It may not be possible, but we don't want it too lopsided. So but the intent is to put it in these three buckets. Does that make sense? And then anything you want to say on the advanced promotion, Cliff?
Um, well, Boppy, I think we're going to ask you to write a blog if possible,
Yeah.
which then we would promote. We'll do a social media push on the Experience Center to make sure there's lots of visibility on it. So those are some things you can look for around that. Now, I don't I don't know if any of the companies demonstrating have any specific news releases that they're doing, but if anyone is doing a news release around Summit on from your company, please let us know so we can also amplify that on our social media. That's it, Poppy, for me.
Okay. Each company, please fill in your table. 2 extra rows on logistics. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to go around the table. I'm kind of just make sure nobody, you don't have any opens that we haven't addressed. Andreas, anything on your mind?
I think that's
Yeah,
first. I think is
good.
there a way to um, so that we will know who has visited us, who has visited the center. I think usually there's a way to scan the badge so that we know who has visited. Um, that would be one. The one other is that do you have a specific promotion for a bunch of wire?
Wait, what do you mean by specific promotion, Bill?
Well, so because we talk about standards, we talk about this, so there's some, we have really right now the open source, um, one is UCIe, the other is bunch of wire, right?
Right. So the intent here is to be open to everybody in the open chiplet economy. So so we will have one for the bunch of wires. We'll have one for the UCI if somebody shows up with it. So the intent is to be sort of bring everybody into the tent, so to speak.
Yes. Okay.
Good question. So it is not like this is meant to demonstrate exclusively any interface standards promoted by the OCP or the ODSA, but to sort of say, look, here's a set of exciting stuff going on in the entire open chiplet economy.
Yeah, and I don't know if Rob has dropped. I think he did, but I'll make sure to mention it to him about the request for the leads tracker. I don't think we provide that organically for each experience center. There's a fair cost to that, but I can check.
Yeah, actually, Cliff, you're right. We don't provide that. So it's best to do that by, scanning the badges with phones or something like that. It's much less, overhead.
Okay, so not provided. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Google folder rather than mailing this out, and then upload this deck there and send all of you a link to the drive, to the folder in the drive.
If the leads tracker is not provided, would we get a list of people who have registered for the OSP summit?
The total registration list, you can put that as a request, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Okay.
There's privacy things that we have to comply to, and it's fairly difficult.
And David, bear in mind also, in some sense, we're also a technology demo station and not a business demonstration, right? So there's some, I believe there's some trade-offs there. Okay.
Exactly.
So Andreas, if you're
Yep.
still online,
We have a
Yeah, I'm
place
still
to.
online. What do I need to comment on?
anything, any opens, any issues that I haven't covered, I just do a quick roll call to make sure that if somebody hasn't spoken up, I just ping everybody once.
Yeah, no. Thank you for bringing this to my attention yesterday. Otherwise, this is awesome, right? Look forward to it.
Excellent. I'm happy you're here. Kritikesh?
I think I'm good for now. I'll have a chat with Professor Ayer, but yeah, for the timing, I'm
Super.
okay.
Mark, you still on from Marvel? I don't think so. Majid, anything on your mind? We lost him. It's 8:55. Okay, Tim, if
No,
you're still on.
no, nothing. Thanks very much. Thanks, no problem.
All right. Andy,
This is
Kevin?
Tim. I'm good, thank you.
All right. Andy, Kevin, anything on your mind? Wait, oh yeah, we have Kevin Overload. I'm sorry, we have two Kevins. Okay. Patrick or Kevin from Elian, anything on your mind?
No, this is great. Thanks.
Keith?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Anybody from Cheetah, John? Okay. David, Tony?
Nope, I'm good.
No,
Hey,
I'm good.
Tony, I'll send out an email with the to the Bo people at Bo.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Um,
Yeah,
Bill,
Bobby, I
any
just said
closing thoughts? Yes, David, go ahead,
I
please.
I know that Patricia will ask me whether there's a place to show that ASC is a sponsor.
Yes. Okay, Cliff, that's yours, right?
Yeah, we're uh, planning to have the ASC logo as part of on the top as a sponsor. Right now, I have to work that with Rob. Yeah,
I think she will be talking to you, and anyway, so
very good. No
thank you.
worries.
Okay. In that case, everyone, thank you. This is one of the things I'm really excited by. There's a unified consolidated demo. So have a good weekend and everything. Stay tuned.
Thanks, Pappy.
Thank
Bye
you.
Thanks,
bye.
Bye
Rafi.
now.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.